Well, let's talk a little bit more about planning careers or event professionals and as they're taking steps into their careers. And I know there's like a lot happening in the space, and your book really helps a professional really get through the decisions that they have to make as they're navigating the event planning space. But I recently attended, there was a webinar about the jobs in the industry and how things are shifting a bit in the industry. So they're shifting more into gig work, right? There's full-time jobs, and a lot of event professionals are caught into that, really wanting to pursue more contract work versus coming back full-time. I'd love to just hear your thoughts on that, what you're seeing, if it's a trend for you as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I mean, my role is very different because I'm in-house corporate full time, but I definitely have seen more of this gig economy, especially, and I think twice now I've seen it at hotels. So our CSM, typically our CSM in the past, has been someone that's been at the hotel, they work at the hotel for full time. But twice now since COVID, I've had a CSM and they're like, oh no, I'm contracted and I'm just picking
Oh,
up a few groups. And I thought that was really interesting that like the gig economy is at these hotels. One of the CSMs had worked there full time like 15 years before, and then she was doing this gig now at the hotel. So she knew the hotel really well, but she's like, oh no, I do it at other hotels too. So I think that was a huge signal, and we've seen so much of that. I feel like within the event industry since COVID, like inflation and how it's impacting just pricing in general with roles when COVID first hit. And then unfortunately, a lot of people were let go. And then we saw people change their careers. One thing I've seen with audio visual, and I've talked to a lot of AV techs about this, is that AV techs, a lot of them changed their careers, or they're more in production or film, TV now. And so there's a whole new class of AV techs coming in that are new. And before they were more like legacy techs. So that gig economy, like the turnover, people being short staffed, inflation, I mean, seeing that all across the board still post COVID. And I still think the industry is changing and we're seeing those shifts.
yeah. I mean, and it can be an opportunity for an event professional that's just looking to take a little bit of a step back, or want to be a little bit more flexible in saying yes and no to some of the things that they work. But I also can see how it's an advantage for the hotel economy to be able to take advantage of a contractor and not necessarily have someone on full time. So it's definitely an interesting landscape. But I think even as an event professional, it's important to probably even know that.
It's really good to know. And also, like, if someone's in-house and full time, knowing that there's planners out there that you can like tap into, right? Like, depending on what goes on with the economy and how that might shift budgets for different companies, knowing that there's planners that you can tap. I also think there's this conversation a lot about like hyper local. It was a huge topic during COVID. And I think that we've seen trends of that now, where people want to be more hyper local, not travel unless it's necessary, be more particular about their travel. So I think that for planners that want to do more of like gig work, being like a hyper local gig planner in a specific area, assuming there's higher traffic in that area, is probably like a good way to go if someone doesn't want to be full time.
Absolutely. There's so much opportunity for an event professional just to create a different experience for them. And the support is there now more than ever, with a lot of these different platforms and companies that really help support people that want to do contract work. So it's a really great time if anyone wanted to dabble